OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, Outcasted OC? It's me and Reese. We're doing a two-people episode again. G is feeling a bit on the weather, and Courtney is busy preparing for wedding and stuff and can't get the shift off work. So you get us wonderful two again, which is very fitting because we are doing a catch-up. So I guess we could talk a bit about Vengeance Day and what happened after Vengeance Day. So yeah, how you feeling anyway, Reese? Like, that's the main thing.
I'm feeling fine, dude. Especially after NXT this week. Like, goddamn,
what
was
wrong NXT?
I know, like, just everything. I feel like everything like happened all at once this week on NXT. Like, you had TNA, like people coming over challenging for titles. You had debuts. You had a certain name change, which I'm sure we'll get into. You had announcements for next week. Like, NXT's eating good lately. Let's go. I love it.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week of wrestling to talk all around. TNA, AEW, and WWE's like whole situation that's going on there. It's very interesting. So the one that I wanted to kind of open with is, how are we feeling about the Rumble choices? Like, both choices have now been made for the Rumble picks, and how do you feel about them?
So in hindsight, like, hindsight is always 2020. It will always be 2020. I think we're on track with both matches, because at the end of the day, even before Charlotte came back and won the Royal Rumble, people wanted Charlotte versus Tiffany at WrestleMania. Like, that's what we was talking about. People compared Tiffany to Charlotte Flair, you know, for better or for worse. I would rather just have Tiffany be Tiffany than be compared to anyone, but I get it. Like, this generation's like purebred athlete is Tiffany Stratton. Charlotte was the Four Horsewomen's purebred athlete, so I get it. I'm looking forward to the match. I think it's only going to go one way. I think it has to keep the importance of the Royal Rumble. I was looking at the statistics this year, and it's pretty low. Like, the number, like the percentage wise, of people who win the Rumble and then go on to win at WrestleMania. I think it's at like 68%, and I'm like, oh, that's not looking very good, because the whole slogan for the Rumble is, you know, you get a main event, you guaranteed a main event championship at WrestleMania. Yeah, so, like, you know, well, what are they going to say if it drops below 50%? The winner is guaranteed to lose at WrestleMania.
The winner has a 50-50 shot at winning at Mania.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as good in like the marketing point of view. It's like when, do you know, like when the first person lost Money in the Bank, it was like a big surprise. Like, you know, the first person to cash in unsuccessfully, and now it's like a few people, and it's like that percentage is dropping as well. So it's like, oh shit, like it's not a guarantee anymore.
Yeah. It's I think it's quite interesting because you have to kind of do that as a booker. You have to always like change the perspective of like a Rumble win to a Mania, and then a Money in a Bank as well, and like, you know, all those matches that are like, oh, you get a title opportunity at the belt and stuff like that. Like Elimination Chamber as well. It's like, oh yeah, you've got a guaranteed match, but how Elimination Chamber is now felt, it's like, oh, you know, the champions that didn't get picked, yeah, they're kind of now the afterthought, and it's not even matches you're massively hyped for.
How do you feel about that? Like, because like the Elimination Chamber used to be for the championship, like, and it was for a long time, and now it's kind of the number one contenders. Like, how do you feel about
that? I'm kind of annoyed because, like, I remember some of the best chamber matches where it was for the championship, and it was one of the coolest things to see. But I understand they're not wanting to drastically change it just before the Mania cards because you want to sell your Manias. But for me, one of my all-time favorite chambers was Bray winning it. Like, that chamber for me is like one of the most iconic chambers I've seen, because not only were the talent stacked in there, not only did one of my all-time favorites win, and it was like such an unexpected win. Like, everyone was like, oh, nah, Bray's going to get out really early on, because they had big names in that match. It was just all-round great. But yeah, I understand the whole idea of a number one contenders for Chamber now, and it flows better going into the Mania season because it's like, as I explained, you get your Rumble, that's a guarantee. You've got one of the champions, and now Chamber easily sets up the next champion, so there's always that guarantee now. So I get it. I get why they're doing it. Marketing wise, it saves people losing their tickets.
Do you know what? From a booking point of view, do you not think it'd be interesting for? Because obviously the champions are waiting for the Rumble winner to pick who the champion is. I think an extra ripple would be like, you better pick me because I want a main event match at WrestleMania, but I also don't want to defend my championship in the chamber before I get to WrestleMania. I think that'd be interesting to do. Like
That
because
would be, yeah. Well, that's how they used to angle it. Was you've got to still defend it in the chamber. So Manias could be completely different because Manias someone could have won in the chamber. And this is
exactly.
And this is the thing now. The reason I genuinely feel like they're not doing it is because they're holding off on that kind of thing now because they want a more consistent story going into the Mania season. So number one contenders makes that easier to write the bigger picture. Where I'd love that mini plot twist of oh, by the way, because you weren't chose, you've now got to defend your belt at Chamber, and then whoever was the last person you still defeated in the chamber to retain your belt, yeah, now you've got to fight them at Mania as well. Because that already builds the feud. They survived the longest and then still lost. It would easily build. But
you could do that. Like that'd be interesting as well. Yeah, 100%. Or like kind of like what Kofi did on the way to Kofi Mania, like that gauntlet match
for everyone. Yeah. I always say this, Kofi Mania for me was one of the biggest things that got me back into wrestling, that whole underdog story of Kofi. Because I grew up watching Kofi back in the early days, like the old SOS, proper Jamaican style Kofi Kingston. To see he was getting this whole story angle of the New Day, trying to build him up, making him the main event guy, making him get that opportunity, that hooked me. And I loved getting to see that gauntlet style of storytelling of like the powers that be are trying to stop you at every hurdle, and gave him like what felt the true underdog story of you've got to get through everyone. And I think a character like Cody Rhodes right now would definitely excel in that style, especially with where his attitude is at the moment. Cody is going through this whole mental struggle and very close to being like Homelander-esque villain. So I 100% could see him going through a gauntlet of people to defend his belt because that's what's left for him. He's lost his friends because Randy's out of action for a while. Kevin's betrayed him. Jey Uso's too busy focusing on Gunther because Gunther's made it his problem now. And Sami Zayn is too busy focusing on Kevin Owens because Sami nearly got his whole career taken from him. So
yeah. Like, I mean, so with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, like, I've got a bit of an issue with that because I mean I'm not really enjoying Cody's run as the champion anyway. Are they leaving it a bit too late to write like a story for Cody? Like
that's how I felt. I feel like the chamber will tell because there are a couple of people going against Cody Rhodes I'd be here for if they win the chamber. And I hate to be that guy, and it sucks G's not on the podcast to hear me say it, but I genuinely think the CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes feud is going to be arguably the best story to tell from that. Because when them two had that promo, when CM Punk really sat down and looked at Cody and went, "Are you all right?" I knew we were in for something. Because did CM Punk bring it out.
I agree. That was probably Cody's best promo since he came back to the WWE. I think I said that the week of the podcast as well.
You did.
Really enjoyed it.
But that's like the only two massive ones I genuinely can see that would interest me the most that are actually in this chamber situation. I wouldn't be against a Cena Cody because how Cena did his what's it called? Press conference. There we go. The press conference after he lost the Rumble and went, "What's best for business is me being a 17-time champion." That made me think, well, is Cena going to lean to a more vicious side? Is Cena gonna cut corners? Is Cena not gonna be so, babyface to the core anymore? With how he said that promo, it left me with goosebumps because it was very ominous with how it was presented. So
I'd be
I
up for
hope,
that. I'd definitely be up for that.
I made the fantasy booking of saying I'd love a kind of lost his smile type storyline out of Cena, where it's like his retirement is him retiring the old ways of Cena, the old baby face of him, and then he just like shocks everyone, turns heel, wins, and went, you thought I'm just going to carry this belt and be an arsehole for the next year, which is going to be incredibly hard because it's hard to boo Cena because people have wanted a heel Cena as well. So it's like,
I think that he should start coming out wearing a suit. Like instead of his his shorts and his
that'd be cool. Like full proper Hollywood, like proper suit, tie.
Yeah, what's
Mate,
best
start taking what Cody looks like when he walks out into the ring. Just mock him. Win against Cody, then start wearing Cody's look.
Kind of, yeah, exactly that. The best example I can think of was when Jericho started coming out wearing the suit and saying he's like the best in the world at what he does and stuff like that. Like, I'd take a bit of a inspiration from that version of Jericho. It's probably my favorite version of Jericho. That, to be honest, I enjoyed it.
I can understand why that'd be your favorite. Yeah,
so good. Like that feud that he had with Michaels, like just cemented it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Cody needs to. I think this is a make or break situation for Cody at WrestleMania for me. Like I said, I don't think his title reign has been that interesting. I want to see if he's going to be holding on to that championship, where that's going to be going in the next couple of months. Because I think no matter who he is at WrestleMania, I think he's probably going to win. I don't see him losing it. But I don't really see the point in continuing this title run that has lost all of its momentum. All of it. I'm not interested in it at all. Like the Kevin Owens feud, it was all right. It was decent.
Yeah,
like,
that kind of resurfaced it, but now Kevin's gone to go to Sammy, and my interest would stayed with Kevin in that situation, which is a bad thing because your champion was the one to come on top and make it more interested in him. The fact of Cody posed and was being a dick to Kevin Owens, like literally in front of him, I was like, here we go. Here's the planting the seeds. They're going to flick the switch. They're going to make Cody start being an asshole to people. Next episode, back to normal Cody. Okay, so we're not going to act like he just showboated in front of you, someone he nearly murdered.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's true, yeah.
And I'm sorry. In all the goodness gracious of the world and all the what do you want to talk about, or the shut the hell up, come fight me in the ring promos this man does, just for once in your damn life, let him cuss. Other people are freaking cussing on Netflix like it's no problem. This man cooked when he was in Ring of Honor because he could swear at people. Just stop it. Stop giving this. He has to be the role model. He's the All-America. Like, just let him be him.
Well, exactly. Like I think his best promo was when he let the mask slip a bit. Like with CM Punk, I feel like he let the mask slip. Like a bit irritated, a little bit annoyed with what was going on.
Even the earlier ones of like the shut your ass up before I go full Homelander on you, when he was speaking with Heyman and everyone, like the previous Bloodline ones where he was actually getting genuinely mad at the Bloodline. I want more of that, and I just feel like we've lost that. The only other feud I put forward, and the only person I really want to put forward to beat Cody, and I know it's a bit biased, but I genuinely think a Finn Balor would be a very interesting takeaway to be a champ again, because that rivalry speaks itself. That's two former Bullet Club leaders. That's him having a struggle with his group now. He gets taken away from the group. He can focus on himself again. He can start being the solo talent again, start pushing for the event spot he should be in. Because I'm sorry, everyone's like, Finn Balor's washed and all that now. He's too old and that. Not really. If you sit down and really think about it, he can do pretty much all your favorites and then some more. Like, the man can cut promos. The man can wrestle. Like, barely gets injured, and when he does get injured, he still like recovers incredibly quick.
Yeah, I don't really know where Finn Balor is up to at the moment. Like, I think I would like to see that storyline. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a shame the way they've booked him over the past couple of months,
Yeah.
because I don't think he's going to be ready in time for a WrestleMania. I would like
Yeah,
to see him for like
I'm saying more like a SummerSlam, because like, you know how you were saying you didn't really see where Cody goes for the next few months after this feud. I think
Yeah.
this storyline is a bit too short right now. I think a CM Punk versus Cody coming out on top, I still think that's a good storyline in itself. It at least leaves us with a good situation. CM Punk got his main event. Yeah, he didn't get the win, but he still got a main event at Mania. And, you know, Cody retains, all the Cody fans are happy, and it still gives us storylines leading into SummerSlam. This is where I was going to get into this. They've speculated Finn Balor versus AJ Styles for the first time ever at Mania is going to be the match they're going to do for Finn and AJ, which I'm like, cool, I get that. But then you've also just teased Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship against AJ. So
give me that. I'd rather have that. Like, honestly,
so
like,
are we going to have a triple threat? Are you going to make Braun Breaker lose the title? Also, AJ Styles versus Finn Balor is for the IC now. Like, it feels weird that Dirt Sheets come out with that on the same episode Braun versus AJ happens, and how Braun versus AJ finished was literally AJ called out Braun for the belt. Like,
yeah,
that feels like, cool, that's a Mania match now set. The IC being defended on Mania. That they couldn't make that any more clearer from how it seemed, but that's not going to be the case. I don't know, it just felt really weird and off.
no, yeah, I agree.
And I think a lot of the Judgment Day as well, their booking has felt weird because there's no new member, who's the member, what's going on there, type of thing. And it's like, are they actually going to do something with this storyline now?
I mean, is Paul in the comments? Has he got an opinion on this? Because I know he's a pretty big Balor fan.
No, he has not been in the comments today, so it's probably going to be the one that he is out and is probably going to be watching it tomorrow. But yeah, Paul, we notice and watch you in the comments whenever you're there. But shout out to everyone else that is also in the comments. You guys saying hi and everything, and saying who you think should win and shouldn't win in these scenarios. We do appreciate you. But yeah,
right. Here's one for you. Like, you just mentioned you Finn and AJ at WrestleMania, but you've also mentioned AJ and Braun for the title at WrestleMania. Which one would you rather have? Like, I mean,
Braun.
because yeah, I would as well. I honestly would as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've seen Finn and AJ before. I mean, during that random TLC where like a lot of people were ill, and we got given the Demon versus AJ Styles in his prime. I was like, that what a great match that was. Like, don't get me wrong, great. Would I want to see that again? Yes, take my money. But I'm interested in seeing the young dog, like Braun Breaker, versus AJ Styles. Like, hell yeah, give me that right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, you know where my stance is. I love a Mania that portrays good stories, but also showcases talent that have been doing really well throughout the year. Braun Breaker being out of Mania is ridiculous to me. I'm sorry, that man has grafted. He has put in numbers. You're telling me a geezer that can go like what, nearly 23 miles per hour in the ring for a spear, and you're not going to put him in? Sorry, arguably the most watched YouTube video that came out from WWE is him spearing Speed. Like, you can't not have him on the card. And going against someone like AJ, who is a veteran, who is like the guy to watch if you ever want to see really cool moves or someone to learn from. This is coming from someone who analyzes wrestling because he's training in it now. AJ is the guy to watch for like very sharp, unique ways of hitting a move. Like, he has that technical advance of how you can land things and have a certain better way of selling it. And I think that match is amazing. But yeah, I think the whole idea of first time ever Mania, Finn, AJ, that makes a lot of fans happy because that is a dream match of a Mania, but there's no title involved, there's no Demon Finn, and there feels like there's no story to lead to them two going at it.
honestly, at this point, I would take AJ versus Braun for the title. If we're gonna have a non-title match with Finn having a match at Mania, I would have Finn versus Dom.
Yeah, that'd
Like,
be cool.
yeah, or something like that. I mean, because like it's coming to a head. The Judgment Day thing is coming to a head. Dom was pushing for another member of the Judgment Day. Obviously, Finn doesn't want that. Don't know who would be the babyface in that situation. I don't know if he even needs a babyface in that situation, but I would like to see it. And then maybe like a new member of the Judgment Day, like attacks Finn and turns him face, and then he leaves the Judgment Day.
I mean, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, like it makes sense. It progresses the Judgment Day storyline. Preferably, I'd kind of want the Judgment Day to be over at this point, unless you get someone like just out of nowhere, like a Logan Paul in the Judgment Day. That'd be kind of crazy.
I think for me, there are like this whole tease of like a new member. A lot of me was thinking like a Penta or someone like that, like someone that's new, someone fresh that's came in, or someone from NXT gets a random call up to just join the likes alongside Dom. And I'd be like, that's cool. That would resurface the interest. But this constant no new member and Dom not really even saying who he wants to join, like be the new member to join, doesn't add up for me. It's not making sense.
Have you got anyone particular in mind who you would call up from NXT? Like, I know I'm putting you on the spot there, but
So female wise, yes. I said a Tatum Paxley fits the vibe of Judgment Day very much so. The whole dark, whole creepy, and I think it'd be really funny as the aesthetic of like Tatum in the clubhouse messing with all the dolls and Carlito and that are trying to play the game, and like Tatum is being really crazy and Carlito just looks like that's not cool, man. Like it would freak him out and it'd be a funny comedy part to it. Men's side, it's been very difficult for me to just sit down and be like, oh, who could I really see doing it, or who could I see being that type of like weird, wacky kind of join to the group. But then I kind of drawed that back and I'm like, they don't have to really be weird and wacky. They just need like kind of that re-establishment of oomph, because what I feel like is they've lost kind of a powerhouse. They've lost like a Damian Priest. So I really sat down and struggled with this for a while, but then I thought it'd work. I'd love it to be an Ethan Page.
You would have an Ethan Page in that. Okay, that's different.
That's because Ethan Page has the ego, but he also is he's a quite big built guy. He is like bigger muscle stature in the sense of like a Finn, and a Finn and an Ethan Page duo, bro. Take my money. That's all I gotta say. Take my money.
That's an interesting one for you to say, to be honest. And I wasn't actually expecting you to say that. Like that is a good one.
Because it's like where the Judgment Day were originally of this kind of old goth, old dark kind of group, like we're metalheads. That's how we're going to be represented. So now they're misunderstood gang type of mantra, like we look after each other, a little bit of hoodlum kind of attitude with it. It's kind of lost that metal, oh, we need to be like spooky, scary kind of edge to it. No pun intended there with me saying it's lost that edge to it. Don't start. I noticed my own joke there. But for me, I feel like Ethan Page would be a very interesting join of the group, and I feel like the conflict of another kind of big egotistical joining the group and him trying to be a leader would add that extra bit of oomph to the group that they need. And it's a good way of calling Ethan Page up, because not going to lie, I think Ethan's done everything he needs to in NXT. I'd rather just see him on the main roster already.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with Ethan Page. I mean, we'll get
after Vengeance Day. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with him now. That felt weird. The fact you still made him win, even though it felt like Javon Evans won. I was like, what? It made no sense.
That feud as well, and I'm like, why?
I'm like, oh, cool. I now have to endure another match of it where I felt like Vengeance Day was going to be where it finished because it made sense.
Yeah. There's one name, and I don't really know why it keeps popping up in my head. I kind of ragged on him last week, but when it comes to the Judgment Day, I feel like he would fit. I'm just going to throw Eddie Thorpe out there.
You know
Like,
what? You know what? I'm not against. I'm not against the idea of it, and I very much.
you
You
know
know,
why I'm
I
thinking he's
already.
there? Like, do you get it? Like, I kind of get the vibe that like,
Yeah, I could see. I could see where you're going with it. Yeah, kind of the. Oh, you ain't gonna disrespect me. I don't give a damn. I'll be as savage as I can be. He fits that Judgment Day esque vibe. I 100% see it. And to be fair, after his match against Trick, I could definitely see him in a Judgment Day because he found every way to abuse using a strap match. Any dirty tactic, it was there. So yeah,
yeah.
100%.
And I would like to think as well that, like, I mean, at the moment he's not a big enough star to outshine Dom. And I think the way forward at the minute for the Judgment Day, I think the next mission for the Judgment Day as a stable is to get Dom over as a leader.
Yeah.
I think Dom needs to be the leader for a little bit, like before he branches out by himself. Obviously, for a while you had Rhea as the leader, and then Damien kind of took over, and then Finn was a little bit the leader, and now like Liv Morgan was championing him a little bit. I think
I was
Dom
going to
needs.
say, I don't feel like Finn has been the leader. I feel like Finn's just making his point. I don't want any more people. I'm sticking with us, and we will wait till JD is back, and then we'll be back at full strength. For me, it felt like Liv was leading the charge, but now how Finn's been, it's like, I don't know anymore.
It's weird with Finn in it because like, I never saw him as a leader because of Damien was there. But ever since Damien left, it's been like, oh,
It has
like
to be Finn. Yeah.
listen to Finn and you'll win. And it's like it's kind of like he's trying to direct the group.
Yeah, 100%. That's how I felt about it as well. Like, it to me, it didn't make sense to not have Finn as your leader.
Yeah, because he was preaching for the whole time that they shouldn't be leaders.
Yeah, and he has been champion multiple times
across
all the brands. Like, make it make sense. You're having, like, this is no disrespect to Liv Morgan. As people know, I'm not a big fan of her, and this is no disrespect to her. But you're telling me you're having only what, a 2-time women champion, and I think 1-time tag champ or 2-time tag champ. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I think you're probably you're on point with that. Yeah, I think so.
To going against 3-time NXT champion, tag champion, also Intercontinental, also US champion. Like, make it make sense. He has more acolytes. He has been in the game longer. Do I need to bring up all his New Japan backlog of all the belts he won there too? Like, make sense.
This is like you say, like Finn's at a point in his career where I think he needs to branch out and go away from the Judgment Day. Dom is in a place where he's still young. Get him over as a heel, a face, or whatever you want to do with him. And then he leaves the Judgment Day. And then I think we end the Judgment Day.
Yeah, that's where I kind of feel. I just like it needs to happen. It just needs to, like, separate Finn from the group. I loved the group when all of them were in it, when it was peak Rhea, Damien, Dom, and Finn. That was where it was at its peak for me. Don't get me wrong, I love Carlito. I even love when JD McDonough joined the group. And then the R-Truth stuff. R-Truth part was funny. But, man, just, I don't know what it is anymore. This Judgment Day doesn't hit for me the same. I love Raquel. I love Carlito. I love Dom. I respect Liv's work. She isn't for me. But I respect Liv's work and I understand why she's in that group and has built the way she has, especially with the rivalry that it was with Rhea. And I'm a Finn stan, always have been. The fact of like how they have done my man dirty for so many years still sucks. Especially you do the whole 7-year storyline with Seth and didn't let Finn win. That still to this day is what I feel truly buried the idea of Finn can be a leader anymore, or Finn stands his ground in a faction.
Just to, I'd like a final point onto the whole Judgment Day conversation. I think the reason why you feel different about the Judgment Day now is because it's done its job. It got Damien over. It turned Rhea into this killer. Like, and like now she's like the most popular person. Look what it's done for Dom. Like it served its purpose. Like it was the highest thing on Raw. Like like it was in the main events all the time. It's not there anymore, but that's fine. It had a good run. It's been here since 2022. Judgment Day. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, those people are now ready to go on and do their own things. Like, Carlito's a veteran; he'll be fine. JD McDonough, like, he will be fine as JD McDonough. Dom Mysterio, the sky's the limit for Dom Mysterio. Liv Morgan is always going to be Liv Morgan, or whatever she's doing, she'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah,
like the group will be okay. Like with if it finished in the next month or so, it'll be fine. It's done its job.
All the guys would be fine. They'd find their feet.
Yeah, they would, exactly. Speaking of finding his feet, going back to quickly like what you're saying, the Rumble situation.
Yes.
Jay has found himself in the main event situation. He's been called main event Jay Uso for a while, but obviously he's actually considered now the main event because he's going to be the main event at WrestleMania. Do you think he's found his feet in that main event spot? There's a lot of people who are judging and critiquing. Like so like it's you've got a lot of critics there who are saying, you know, it's not the right time for Jay. Jay doesn't feel like he should be champion, you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it the easiest respectable way I can to people that keep doing this whole thing. So you're telling me your main event, you want all veteran guys again. We're not living in 2010, 2013, 2014. You're telling me you constantly want to have your Rock, your CM Punk, your Cena, your freaking Roman. Stop. Like, let new talent show they deserve to be in the main event. Damian had his criticism when he won the Money in the Bank and won the World Championship, yet you all thrived through when he was the champion. Let Jay cook. Like, it's the exact same thing. It's an underdog, found their spot, found their opportunity, and has took it. And I am sorry. He has been a tag champion all his life. Him finally carving the way to be a singles guy and showing how he can be a singles guy and how he has sold himself of everyone keeps doubting me. I'll show the doubters. I am fully on that storyline because I love a storyline where it's everyone is against me, even my own self, and I have to prove myself because I have to prove everyone else. Those storylines are some of the best that come out of wrestling, and I think he definitely earned the spot because he was already over with the fans so early on with the whole Yeet storyline, leaving Roman, doing the super kick, being like, look, you out and I'm out too. We were there. We were hooked as soon as he said that.
Yeah, iconic.
Exactly. So for people to say he's not in the main event scene, I think that is a stupid claim to make because anyone could be in the main event scene. It's how you build yourself. It's how you work yourself. It's how you sell to the crowd to make it believable. And Jay has beyond done that.
It's a classic example of wrestling fans not knowing what the hell they want. Because it's everyone says, oh, I wish like a new person would win the Rumble, or like I wish a new person would win Money in the Bank. And then when they do, they're like, I don't know how I feel about it. And it's like, oh, come on. Like a couple of weeks ago, you were talking about Jey Uso. You're probably doing the yeet dance and shit like that. And now that he's actually got an opportunity, now that he actually has earned the title of main event Jey Uso, you're not gonna give him an opportunity. Like Jey Uso is, in my opinion, and he proved this while he was in the Bloodline, one of the best promos in the company. Just because he does the whole yeet thing, like people forget that. This is like high praise. Apart from Paul Heyman, Jey Uso was probably cutting the best promos in the Bloodline. Like,
fact.
Like, honestly, dude, like that promo that he cut. That honestly, that promo that he cut. Do you know when he was saying to Roman, "I hate you, Uso. I hate you." Like that still gives me chills when I watch it back. Like it's so good. The acting is fantastic from Jay.
So I was going to add the same. One of my favorite promos they have done, even though it was a comedic one, was one of the best I ever seen because it was between the two brothers and how they bounced off each other. It was we never got an email back, text back, letter in a bottle back. like talking about how they're trying to get hold of Roman and they did everything possible. And they just kept listing off the most stupid ways they could try and get in touch with him. And I was like, Jay started that promo. Jimmy bounced off it, and Jay just kept adding more ridiculousness to it. Like the fucking sent a smoke signal. Like, come on, man. The guy knows how to control a crowd.
No, you're right. And all the way through it, like, I mean, he understands the little things. It's the little things. Like, even when he wasn't speaking in like the Bloodline promos, because he wasn't a fan of Sammy, he was always side-eyeing Sammy or always looking at Sammy. Or whenever like there was a bit of shade being thrown at Sammy, like that iconic moment where Roman was like, take the shirt off. And like before he said, like, because I got you a new one, like you heard Jay in the background going, take the damn shirt off, Sammy. And then he rips it off him like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like just the little things, like always be in character, always be on. Jay's great at that. He's fantastic, and like he's really cemented himself as a single star. Like I love Uso Penitentiary Usos.
Yeah.
But I thought they were the best version of the Usos, in my opinion, as a tag team. Loved it. 2016, 2017 SmackDown, iconic Usos.
Agreed.
However, it doesn't matter who it was, Jimmy or Jay. They were still interchangeable. That sounds very disrespectful, but there was nothing special about them. Like,
that's the thing, that's the thing. Like, that's what we keep always landing to, is that there was nothing separating the two of them. Like, look for how many years they were like. They even played into that with the promo. This is going back to Jay, where it's like, oh, listen to your big brother, Jim, all that, even though they were twins. And they were like, you know what happens when people look at me? They look at me and go, which one are you, Oos? Like, Jay spoke facts on the fact that they had no difference between them. They were that synergy, that it was literally two of the exact same guys, and that's why they were so good as tag team wrestlers. But now he solidified himself.
Honestly, and this sounds tight, but the best thing that ever happened to both of the Usos was Jimmy getting injured. Like around
because I get what you mean. They had to pull the trigger. They didn't expect the injury to happen, so the story would have been longer, but it happened.
And then Roman made Jimmy like the right hand man.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then obviously when Jimmy came back, he had the opportunity to create his own character, and them two they were no longer interchangeable. They were in the Bloodline. They had two different characters, like it, and they're still different now. Like Jimmy Uso is finding his feet a little bit slower than Jay, but that's because he was involved still in the Bloodline storyline, where Jay has had a bit of chance to breathe and get away from that. Jimmy is doing the same thing now, and I think he's doing a good job.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially the qualifying match he had on SmackDown. I thought his promo was sick. I thought that whole Big Jim, like you're stood in front of Big Jim now, Big Brother. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I fuck with this hard.
I like Big Jim, and Big Jim had a fucking good triple threat match. He didn't look out of place in the ring with LA Knight and Drew McIntyre,
even though them two actually had like a legitimate fight halfway through that match.
You know, yeah. Well, you know what I mean, though. It was. He looked like a single star. He looked like he belonged. Like he wasn't like, hey, this random tag team wrestler's been thrown into this number one contenders match. No, it felt like Jimmy Uso, like Big Brother's, like going out by himself. Like
that's 100%. Yeah.
So I'm glad that now we've got that individuality from the identical twins. Like it's and I think that's a testament to how hard both of those guys work.
So, mentioning the Bloodline and mentioning one in particular person that used to get a lot of hate, and there was hatred building up between the two of them, Mr. Sami Zayn is going in an unsanctioned match about KO. We have not had an unsanctioned match in a long time, and I mean a very long time in that style. How do you feel about it?
Wasn't the last one like Gargano and Ciampa?
Yes.
Yeah. How do I feel about it? I don't think it should be Elimination Chamber. And I understand that it's in Canada. I get that. But are we just picking a venue over long-term story booking? And I say that because
That's valid.
it's going to be a great reaction from the audience. It's going to be fantastic. That crowd is going to go mental for both of them, and it's going to be a moment, just like when Sami Zayn challenged Roman in Montreal.
Yeah.
It's going to be a moment. That crowd will be epic. It'll be the pop of the night. But what happens after Elimination Chamber? What do both of those guys do?
Yeah, where does the story lead to Mania as well? Like, who comes out of it? What happens with the Mania situation? Because
you peaked too early. Like, you've had
as you said, as you said, longevity-wise, they could easily make that a Mania match, but they're not.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you can't start the feud. I mean, I know they've had a load of matches, but this specific feud, you can't start it with an unsanctioned match.
Yeah.
Like, because it doesn't go anywhere after that. You can't upscale an unsanctioned match. I mean, because like unsanctioned matches like are usually more dangerous than like your Hell in a Cells, like your false count anywheres, like so. I don't know where you would go after that, and I think Sammy's done way too much good work. I mean, like I said on a couple of podcasts before, I don't think he is the main event, but I don't think Sammy deserves to miss out on a WrestleMania. You know my thoughts on Kevin Owens. I don't think he still deserves to miss out on a WrestleMania, though. So are we just going to run it back those two at WrestleMania? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you really run it back from an unsanctioned match as well? Like, what are you just going to turn it? Are you just going to turn it into an actual like a genuine match? Like, are we not just going to act like they tried murdering each other in the previous pay-per-view? Like, I don't know. It feels weird. Like, you are 100% right saying about the longevity. I'm super excited because of it being an unsanctioned match. Those are some of my favorites. Like, I quote Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela in AEW, their lights out match, a lot because I really enjoyed that. And a lot of the unsanctioned matches we've had throughout the years, there's some really dope ones.
The one that comes to mind,
I think Moxley had one as well. That was really awesome.
Moxley did have one. The best one that comes to my mind, obviously, you've got the Ciampa and Gargano one, which was great.
Yeah, that one was huge.
But the one that comes to my mind is, I mean, going back to Jericho versus Michaels in 2008.
I completely forgot that was an unsanctioned one. Yeah, no, that one's that's up there definitely.
Yeah, I just don't know where you would go from there. I mean, like I said, like unless like Sammy's about to have some time off or something, because I feel like he's not had time off in a while. Would the WrestleMania match be loser leaves WWE or something?
Yeah, like, but that's the other thing. Is it like, do they make them leave the brand they're in, or is it they have to go back to like an NXT or something? Like,
I'll go to TNA for a bit.
Or they end up having to go to TNA. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting angle to go with it that I didn't really think of at the time, because that's one thing I was going to bring up. I find it quite ironic that we, in the last couple of podcasts, said they've not really used the TNA WWE merger, and then look at this episode of NXT.
They went, you haven't used TNA. You haven't used TNA yet. Like, he's like, hold my beer. And he's like,
literally, it felt like it was like they made this massive deal at the announcement and the crossover between the two of us, and we're like, oh yeah, the potentials are endless. This is gonna be fucking sick. And then we were sat there weeks on weeks, and we're like, okay, we got the Rascals. That's cool. We got Traxium. Oh, cool. Cora Jade's gone to TNA to tease potentially getting that championship, which she didn't. Yeah, cool. What else? And then it was like, oh, here you go. Hardy's rocking up. Oh, here you go. Moose now in the building. Like,
dude, Moose, like, when he showed up and like Obafemi was like already angry. I've never seen him that angry before.
Yeah.
And then came out and matched his energy, and then Oba was like, I am inevitable. I'm like, oh, I'm so here for this.
Yeah, I was like, man hit the Thanos line. He was like, I am inevitable. I was like, oh,
yeah, I know. Put them two in a ring and just get them to fucking slap meat.
Yeah,
let's go.
This is what made it interesting for me, because obviously Oba called out the guys, and then Moose came out. is Moose saying they're a part of NXT's variation of a system?
I don't know. Like, I actually, honestly, I'm not sure
Because
he's
Moose
not just
is the
that
leader
match.
of system.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, like he's not just having that match. He's also got the match next week, the X Division title match with Lexis King.
Exactly.
So it looks like he's having a couple matches at least in NXT.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that it is it's taken in this capacity. It's taken this deal with TNA, like for Moose to show up in WWE. I'm so surprised it's taken this long. Honestly,
and this is where we get into the controversy stuff that I was going to say. I understand people are going to disagree with people popping for Moose because he had a controversial background when he was in the NFL, him in a past relationship, and speak of DA happened and he got arrested for that. Obviously, I'm trying to keep it YouTube friendly so we don't get demonetized and things like that. But if it went to court and it was dealt with and he was shown as not guilty, which is what the verdict was, you can't then try and re-cancel a guy. Like this is where my argument is. Let people enjoy them not knowing that side of a wrestler. They're enjoying the wrestler. Yes, the person can be crappy, but if they've only ever known that person as the character, then let them enjoy the character. Like there's other wrestlers we can call out that have done the exact same type of thing, and yet people still praise the hell out of them and still love them for who they are.
dude, you got Logan Paul in the Elimination Chamber. Do I need to say more than that?
Thank you. This is the thing. I'm sorry. You praise a guy like Logan Paul who has outright had his controversy shown on the internet, and you're praising him as so good in the ring, which we have as well because we've enjoyed him. And I can look past what happened and what he did because he's tried to redeem himself. It's the exact same thing as Moose. I'm not saying it's great what he did. I don't promote if it happened that way, but the wrestler is the wrestler. I love what he does in the ring. I love what he's done in TNA. It is a dream match for me because those are two massive powerhouses I'd love to see get in the ring. As Booker T said it as perfect as he does. No bread, no water, just meat. And that is big meaty. That is literally just big meaty men slapping meat. And those are the matches I enjoy because it's powerhouse wrestling. It looks fucking awesome. It's two juggernauts seeing who can outlift each other.
You know what makes me laugh about that thing, by the way? You know, when Moose was coming out, like, go back and watch it, dude. It's so obvious that Booker T doesn't know his name.
Oh, yeah.
He has no idea who that is. Like,
he kept hesitating. He's like, "You're telling me you don't know who that is?"
And then he said he's no bread. We're talking no water. And then, but like he said everything, but his name.
And then said Moose. Yeah.
Who he was? No clue. It was
the
so
fact
funny.
He also said the gold standard. I'm like, brother, what do you mean?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, where are you going with
I think he's in AEW, my guy. Like, what are you talking about?
I was like, where are you going with this? Are you saying that's Bobby Lashley? Are you good, Booker?
Fucking Shelton Benjamin's put on a lot of weight, hasn't he? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
I love Booker T. Like he was saying his just meat lines. He was going, "Oh yeah!" And Vic Joseph is like, "Who's that, Booker? Who's that?" And he goes, "We're talking no bread." I'm like, just say
you don't know fucking who it is. Can we also talk about that camera zoom was so unnecessary for Moose because man just looked like he was fucking eye dogging, like duck lipping the camera. He was just like,
yeah, for real, yeah. It looked like he was about to eat the camera. Yeah.
I couldn't, like, I was like, okay, weird camera angle, but fucking cool. Moose is here. I'm happy for that because, like, yeah.
When he was stood in the ring with Obafemi, I was just like, what?
Bro, the chills. I instantly got a screenshot and sent it to G, and when the dream match has happened, like, the dream match is happening.
Mate, like I just all the pictures was like them two just hitting each other and like the arena shaking when they hit.
Yeah, and I just imagine they would do it. They were going to do a chop off, and it would just be the chance of like, ooh, and then Moose after as well. Like it'd be so sick.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, like it's like fucking the Hulk versus Red Hulk. Oh, fucking up.
Speaking of other people rocking up in NXT that we haven't got to speak about yet, Ricky Saints, not Ricky Starks, has officially signed his NXT contract. And how do you feel about the name change?
Right. When I first heard it, I was like, "What? What the fuck is that? What is Ricky Saints?" I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I kind of got over it really quickly, and I'll tell you how. I was on a Discord call and I was just talking to a couple of people, and I was saying like Ricky Saints, what the fuck is that, and all that sort of stuff. And then I'm just watching the rest of NXT, and then I'm just kind of just sat there daydreaming about him in like in like a couple of years, like main event in like WrestleMania or something like that. And I'm picturing like the like the vignette card, like the match card.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, like, Saints had actually looked pretty cool on one of those match cards, on one of those giant billboard things. I was looking at it thinking, that actually looks quite cool. So that I got over it quite quickly. I understand that people are a little bit upset that he's not Ricky Starks anymore. But at the end of the day, guys, this is nothing new. You very rarely get people come into WWE and have them keep their name. It's the same reason why they've copyrighted the name Edge, and Edge has to now go by Cope. It's the same reason why Walter now goes by Gunther. It's very rare that you will keep your name.
Prince
And
Finn Balor, who used to be Prince Devitt.
Exactly. And look at Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, come on now. Even Michael Cole, that's not his real name.
Yeah. Oh, JD McDonough as well, by the way.
Yep, JD McDonough, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, because Damian Priest is the most mad actual fucking of a wrestler name. It was like Martinez Punishment or something like that, or Punishment Man Martinez.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's a fucking that's such a metal name.
Honestly, like, and it's rare that like only the top stars who come in get to keep their name, and it's because in their contract they go, "I want to keep my name," or "This is my name. I'm having it." Like, you can make and all that sort of stuff. But if you're kind of like, if you're on the level where you're just about to come up and you're doing well, I understand Ricky Starks did well in AEW, but if you're on that level where you're still malleable and you can still be molded by a company, I can understand why they want to change your name. On the other side of that, I can understand why WWE would want to keep the name value of an AJ Styles or a Ricochet or a Cody Rhodes. Do you know what I mean? Like, people know who they are. I guarantee you, if you showed a picture of Ricky Starks to your average WWE fan, they'd be like, "Who the fuck that? I don't know who that."
Unironically, it actually wasn't WWE that made him change his name. He wanted to change his name.
Well, even better, because that's fine, because he understands he probably wants to separate himself from what he was to what he wants to be now.
Yeah. Because he did an interview with Bully Ray and explained that his whole thing with it is he wanted to be a product of his hometown. He wanted to represent Saints. So he put that in his name. And he said, I know a lot of people are going to be upset and I respect it, but I want to make a name for myself here and rebuild it. I'm in the understanding of I respect the wrestler's decision if that's their choice. I just feel like he built a whole stock and a whole lineage to the name Ricky Starks, because that was his indie name for years as well. So for me, it just felt weird to go from Ricky Starks to Saints, because like how much he already built a name. But I understand why, especially if it's NXT. You're in the developmental, they're going to craft you, they're going to make it work, and it makes sense. And
you know what?
I think Triple H is being lenient with like name changes. I don't think he's doing too many drastic ones, because Jay Cargill kept Jay Cargill. Ethan Page kept Ethan Page. Sean Spears kept Sean Spears.
Well, they could have easily turned it back to Ty Dillinger.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Ethan Page could have got a whole new name. Lexus King makes sense because he wanted to be a brand new character. He didn't want to be Brian Pillman Jr.'s son and being called Brian Pillman Jr. So
Do you know,
it makes sense.
I'll flip this for you as well, dude. Talking about Ricky Starks, like, yeah, he built a name off that, but that name also comes with with a lot of baggage that he probably wants to forget about.
Yeah, I think that's part of it as well, of like all the dirt sheets, how he left AEW, wasn't used for a year in AEW, and all the arguments and that coming out. I could see that it's a fresh name, fresh start, fresh place. I get that logic as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's totally understandable. And like I say, I'm fine with it. Ricky Saints, he still sounds sounds kind of weird coming out of my mouth, but it's not the worst name he could have chosen in the world. I think it's all right. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I'm the same. So the last two segments we have to wrap up, kind of both tie into each other. So this is where we get interesting in certain things. So certain talent as well have been signing deals where they're already in contract with another place, and then they're getting to lean over and do other things. So Jordan Grace, she was still under TNA while she still got to do the WWE stuff, and then swapped over. We saw her officially debut properly in NXT with this episode, helping out Julia, Stephanie Vacour, and a lot of people are saying it's Shawn Michaels is now new top three. Like, he's building a new 4 horsewomen, and that's the 3 starting ones. So who do you think could be the 4th? And then that leads into what I'm gonna finish the segments with.
Who do I think could be the 4th? This is a two-sided question. Who do I think could be the 4th is different than who I think should be the 4th.
Okay.
I think who should be the 4th is let's say like a Cora Jade.
Valid.
Because I think she is ripe in this generation just to improve and be better. She brings like a whole different dynamic than a Jordan Grace, Julia, or a Steph does.
Yeah.
Who I think is going to be the 4th? Probably like a Zarya or a Sol Ruka.
I was going to say Sol Ruka over Zarya.
Yeah. I think
yeah.
that's who it's going to be.
Yeah. But I would agree Cora Jade deserves that kind of build of her, but I think they'll lean more to a Sol Ruka slowly, because I already think Cora Jade is on the way to also coming main roster very soon. So we'll see how it goes.
I agree, and you know what? I don't think she should. I really think Cora Jade. I think she's doing well. She's not on the level of a Roxanne Perez at the moment. She's not.
Yeah, she still needs some more stuff. Yeah,
she does. She I mean, I would even go as far to say just because Cora Jade's had a bit of time off, it's not her fault. Like, she's had injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone gets injury time.
Of course, exactly. I would even go as far to say as Jada Parker's probably more progressed than Cora Jade. Like she looks more comfortable in the ring, and she looks more smooth in the ring. So, I don't think Cora Jade needs to go up yet. I think she's got a lot to contribute to that really stacked women's division.
Yeah.
If I was to take anyone out of that women's division to free up a bit of space, it'd probably be like your JC Janes and your Fallon Henleys. I think they're qualified, like to be on the main roster by now. Even, I'm sorry, Ariana Grace. Ariana Grace does not need to be NXT. I don't think.
I feel that. I could see that.
She is very underrated in the ring. I know we've not seen a lot of her at the moment, but in terms like what carries her, what her strengths carry her is her like promo work and her character work. I think she's great. I think she's fantastic. I think you can make so many comparisons to a Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Like how good she is of manipulating that crowd. And again, like we were talking about with Jey Uso, we can say the same with her. Like the little things. Ariana Grace down to the little things about like even when she's not speaking in a promo or when she's in the background of a promo and it's not even her who the camera's focused on. She's like, like doing weird facial.
Yeah.
She's doing the thing I like to call the Kyle O'Reilly, being the most interesting person on the camera without always being the person who the camera is focused on. Like Kyle O'Reilly is very good at that, and she's good at it as well. Like when like like when someone's speaking in the background, you can hear Ariana Grande going, oh, "I never," like, and things like that. Just doing stupid things like with like daft facial expressions and stuff. And it's the little things like that people pay attention to.
Oh, 100%. That's like it will always draw you in, because ad libs and adding to it, you become more than just a background character. You become a character of like, oh, this person's reacting. They're more humanized. I want to kind of know more about them every time. It works in all media, and it's a great way of doing it with wrestling. Like, wrestling always speaks about be vocal, be loud. And it's doing that even in the moments you're not meant to. If you show yourself or you react to promos and you help the person get over by being involved in that type of story, it works in both your favors.
It does.
And
first of all, like in terms of the women's division, I don't know if you know, but I don't know. Where's Lola Vice? Is she injured?
I think she is. Yes, I think she recently was injured, or she's took time off. It's one of the two.
Right. Okay.
I think she got injured in a house show. We'll have to double check, or someone could correct us in the comments. But yeah, I'm pretty sure she got injury time. But yeah,
no idea where she is.
Yeah, it feels weird not having Lola, because Lola would be a very talked up high up there for me as well. I feel she's like right near the cusp of getting out of NXT and going main roster as well.
Yeah, very true.
She's very incredible in the ring. She has got one of the better martial art kind of takes to wrestling, and I think that's undervalued out of her at the moment. But her character excels that and pushes it even further.
Is there anyone in the women NXT? Because I mean, I don't want to like disparage anyone or like poo on anybody. Is there anyone in the NXT women's division who you just don't connect with?
At the moment, yes. She just won the number one contenders for the US title. The one that's with Ashanti.
Carmen Petrovic, really?
Yeah. She walks out, right. You've got a proper, like, this is not me trying to stereotype things or anything like that. You've got like what comes across as a very Russian-esque name. Yeah? See where I'm going with this?
Valid, yeah.
And you come out with a full Japanese katana, swinging it around, and it's never played into any storyline ever. You just have a katana for the sake of having a katana.
Yeah, and I think they brought it up maybe once when she first started why she has that sword, and I cannot remember why she has it.
Exactly. And yeah. I don't understand how we have not played into a story where someone steals her katana or someone's like, it's such a big thing of our identity. Why has there not been a story to play into why that's so big of her identity? And it just takes away it from me. I see her and I'm like, cool, you can do sword tricks. Is that it? That's all I see. She's good in the ring. She's genuinely good in the ring. But her storyline is, I'm dating Ashanti and I have a cool sword. How am I meant to enjoy that? Like, how? At least with Kalani's now storyline was that I'm a young up-and-comer. I'm a breakout talent. I did these great things. And now I'm trying to fight to get back what I had. And I keep being underestimated because I'm young. Jada Parker is the, I've come out of the slums. I'm out of the mud. Literally, as her group name is, I will fight streetwise and I will kick anyone's ass to get what I want to get. And it works. So for me, Jada should have won that number one contenders match, in my opinion. But yeah.
Here's my thing about Carmen, and it's quite ironic because at one point they had like a bit of like a tag team going on. I get Natalia vibes from Carmen.
Yes.
Like such Natalia vibes. Like I don't care. Like no offense to Natalia, but I don't care. Like whenever you're in,
I agree that I know exactly what you mean when you're referring to that is that you're great in the ring, you have some amazing ring skills, but character-wise, I feel nothing from it.
Yeah. There's someone else. Like my answer was different. I agree with that one, but my answer is Nikita Lyons. I don't get it. I don't get the hype. I don't.
Yeah. How do I explain this in the best way of? People on Twitter are thirsty, and that's her whole character.
Yeah, for real. And like, that's fine if he wants to lean into that. Like, fair play. Like, Lola Vice, she leans into it. But I don't know. I understand that she's had injuries, and that's why I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. But she has no character. Like,
this
like
whole
yeah.
this whole lioness thing, when she started teasing the potential work alongside Obafemi, and I was about to be like, King and Queen of the Jungle angle. Okay, that gives her a bit of a character. And then it just like kind of died out, went nowhere. I was like, okay, why did you do that to then do nothing? And now she's back again. And once again, it just feels like she's just like, you lot are all ugly. Everyone's flaunting over me. Come to me. That's how the character came across to me. And I'm like, okay, but I want the badass lioness that you originally debuted with the, you had really strong kicks. You could do nunchucks. You were literally like a martial arts specialist who just had, you know, a very nice curvy figure that you also played into with your character. I'd rather show the martial art cool shit than the now I'm luxurious, everyone should stare at me character, because we have enough of those.
For real. Like, her character is now like, I'm thick. Like, that is her character.
That's the best way you can literally word it, is people are just like thirsty and she's just like, look, I'm thick. Come watch me. That's how it is. And it's like,
fight me.
yeah, and like, I'm just like, I'm like, what? Like, I've got other wrestlers like that have the same kind of look, and I'm more interested in them because they also have a character with it. Like,
for real. Like, you can't just base your whole thing on that. And like I said, I don't mean to shit on anybody, but
no, it's the thing is, we're being critical because we are fans. We're watching characters in a show. It's like the same as any TV show you pick up. How many times have we dogged on Star Wars characters because they didn't compel us when we were watching the series? How many times have we done that with like movies and everything like that? It's the exact same premise. It's not criticizing a person's work because we respect the work they're doing. We're criticizing the character because it doesn't connect with us. There are characters I'm going to hate that you're going to be like, oh, I love that character, or I liked that interesting take on a character. It's how discussions happen. It's how people get better at their craft.
Yeah, I want to see these people succeed. Like, I want Nikita Lyons to interest me. Like,
exactly.
I don't want to see her fired or anything like that. Like, I'm just saying, what you're doing now is poo. Do better. Like, I'll do something else. Like you know.
And this is the like always the issue we always land on with these type of stories and these type of characters is the, oh, but you're being too harsh. They're literally in the developmental brand. Yeah, but there's a difference between developing a character so the character's not going to be incredible to start with but builds, or developing nothing on top of nothing. If you've got a nothing character and you're not giving anything to make that character work and just running with the nothing, it's not going to be compelling. Like, Obafemi has one of the most easiest things that got him over. He is a Nigerian badass, and people started doing the whole Wakanda thing. He picked up on it and carried it going on. Like, and that's not me being like the Wakanda thing as being like, oh, he used his race or he used a common pop culture thing. That's me stating that whole style worked because he leaned into the idea of, wow.
But also he is doing that. Like, that's
exactly.
Not accent. Like, he's like, I'm a Nigerian warrior. I was blessed by the gods. I went to a soothsayer and she said like I was going to be a great warrior that accomplished great things.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Makes sense. I'm interested. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Same as like No Quarter Catch Crew. They're a whole group of guys that are using technical wrestling because they're sick of flippy dippy shit. As soon as you give me a group that are like, cool, 90% of the roster that can do all these cool flips and suicide dives and everything. No, we're going back to bare bones basic. We're going back to the old British style. 100% in.
Yeah, like, and I'm down for it. Like, dude, Team Angle back in the day was one of my favorite factions. Like,
exactly.
if you throw a stable at me like with a Tavion Heights and a fucking Charlie Dempsey in it, I'm going to be interested.
Well, like, look at Las Fantasma. Las Fantasma for me was one of the most interesting like groups when it was in NXT because Santos came in with this unmasked guy. We didn't really know who he was. He started doing this cool badass stuff to being like, oh, by the way, I'm heel. fuck this mask this whole time. Here's my group. And it was all like luchadors doing the whole Italian mafia angle. And I loved that because it was like they were this whole, we're the Lucha Empire. And I was like, cool, you added Empire in it. You're making it different. You've called him an Emperor. You're not calling him the Lucha King or best Lucha in the world, like how you did Rey Mysterio and that.
Libre, like I'm carrying on like a family legacy. Like
Yeah.
I think it's well cool. Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. It's like Nikita has an easy way of doing it with having a name like Nikita Lion, being the lioness. Well, show how you're a lioness. Show that fierce, I'm going to beat the shit out of everyone energy.
Her whole gimmick when she first came in was my mother was a groupie for like, I can't remember, was it like Motley Crue or something? I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like build on that. I don't know how. I'm not telling you how to do your job, but that's cool. You can build on that. But that's the last time she ever mentioned it.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really annoys me. It's like you've got all the opportunities to build on it, and like you're not. It's just
for real.
This is what leads into the last segment we had for the night of Triple H has definitely been looking to the future of wrestling and going into some of the most interesting stuff going forward as Evolve is returning, and they have now made a WWE ID men's and women's belts. How do you feel about that?
I'm absolutely fine with it. Like for me, Evolve was one of the coolest like independent scenes, like just around like when it was doing really great.
Man. Yeah.
Obviously, you had amazing talent that was down there for a long time.
Yeah.
You had Pazoo showed up. You had Austin Theory, he was the Evolve champion. I believe Walter showed up a couple of times in Evolve. You had Tyler Bate.
I was going to say, here's some other names that a lot of people forget.
Yeah,
Ethan
Page. Yep.
Keith Lee.
Correct.
Darby Allin.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He was. Yeah.
Like there were names in Evolve, bro. There were names.
It was one of the best feeder companies. Wasn't MSK there as well?
MSK, Matt Riddle.
Riddle, yeah. Matt Riddle, yeah.
Yeah, because Riddle, Ethan, and Lee had a triple threat for the Evolve belt. MJF as well, I'm pretty sure was in it Evolve for a little bit. Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure he was.
I think you're correct about that as well. I think what they called the Red Dragons at the time, they're Fish and O'Reilly. I think were there for a little bit when they were wrestling with Ring of Honor. Then they went there for a little bit of a spell. It was one of the best like feeder companies in wrestling at the time, and I think it deserves to have something worth fighting for down there. If it's going to be like a developmental for the developmental of WWE talent, they might give them championships. 100%. Why wouldn't you give them championships?
Oh no, he didn't have a stint in Evolve. I thought he did.
Oh, did he not? Oh, right, okay.
No. It's quite interesting though. But he was MLW, and a lot of the MLW guys were also in Evolve. So I think that's where I got my. There's one name we completely massively forgot.
Go on.
Drew McIntyre. That's how Drew McIntyre got back noticed in WWE again. Was his work with Evolve?
Oh yeah, when he was Drew Galloway.
Yeah, when he was still doing Drew Galloway in Evolve. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because he went on indie tear, dude. He went to like WCPW, Evolve. What was the other one? Progress.
Yeah.
Went Progress, yeah, like TNA, Ring of Honor, like yeah, you went everywhere.
Okay, so I've just pulled up the Evolve like alumni and some of the other people that are in this. Are you ready for some of the names?
Yeah, go on.
Adam Cole.
Wow.
Alex Reynolds.
Okay.
Andre Chase.
Yay!
AR Fox.
AR Fox, I did not know that.
Trent Beretta.
Oh, yes, I love Trent Beretta.
Brendan Vink. You already know who that is.
Yep.
Brody Lee.
Didn't know that either.
Chuck Taylor.
Jesus. Is that where the Best Friends were formed then, or what?
No, they were formed in Pro Wrestling Gorilla.
Oh, right, okay.
There's still more. El Generico, Drew Gulak, Drew McIntyre, Eddie Kingston,
Wow.
Evan Bourne.
Evan Bourne, was that when he was Angelico?
No, that was Evan Bourne.
Right, okay.
John Silver, Joey Janela, Moxley had a little bit in Evolve.
See, this is what I mean. Like with alumni like that, and like I mean, the list probably goes on and on. Like I think it definitely deserves championships, and I think if you're gonna build people up to NXT or wherever you're gonna take them, like 100% give them a title. Like I'm down for that. Like it shows like a bit like an OVW or FCW. Like give them something to prove this out. Give them something to work for. Give them some tag team championships if you want. Like do it.
I need to read this line to you of this like particular stacked part of the roster because this has just broke me.
Go on.
Shane Strickland.
Right. Yo. Whoa. Okay.
Shotzi Blackheart.
Shit.
Silas Young.
Wow.
Stokely Hathaway. Stu Grayson. TJ Perkins. Timothy Thatcher. Tommaso Ciampa and Tommy End and Tony Nese. That whole segment were all in Evolve.
See, like exactly, and this is what I'm saying. Like,
so with like a name like Evolve like that and the roster there, like as you said, man, gives so many new talent like opportunity to do bits.
100%, 100%. And look where some of those talents are now. I mean, just an example there, like an Andre Chase. Like,
yeah,
he's not the main roster yet, but look at all the stuff that he's done in NXT. Probably like if you want to talk about one of the four pillars of NXT 2.0, Andre Chase,
100%.
Like, you know what I mean? I want to say him. I want to say Carmelo Hayes. I want to say Grayson Waller and Braun Breaker. They're the four pillars.
I'd also put the Way in 2.0. Like that as the faction carried a lot.
I don't know. They kind of broke up a little bit before, though, didn't they? I mean, like they had the marriage in like the first episode, but then
I mean, like that's what I mean. Though the Way had the breakup angle, like that's what I'm saying. That carried a lot of 2.0. Was the okay? We're going to give you this faction that have now all separated going into this new product, so you've got new feuds to constantly go with.
I'm saying like maybe like more the new generation of people.
Oh yeah. Then all the names you listed there, 100%. There was some crazy LA Knight as well, though.
LA Knight, yeah, he made his name more in the NXT 2.0. I mean, I love Von Wagner. Yeah.
Stop. But my only concern with the WWID belts is that they've not really been established where they're going to be, where they're going to be shown off. And it's like they've signed kind of these exclusive contracts of you're working in your independent companies to then potentially land NXT later down the line. But it's like, when are they going to get called up? How is it going to work? There's not been like enough clarity in my eyes.
I think it's going to work as similar, like I say, with OVW or FCW or even Evolve back in the day, where if you're doing great in Evolve and you can show that you perform well in front of those kind of crowds, then maybe find your way on NXT. Like you say, like Tommy End, Aleister Black, Austin Theory, like he did well in Evolve. He was the Evolve champion. He got brought up to NXT, and then obviously he made his mark and became part of the Way. I think it's probably going to work like that.
Well, that's how I hope it works, because then that makes it a very unique and interesting spot, especially because WWE just announced a potential new signing of one of the UK talents I massively respect. So,
is it?
Man like Darius, as I was saying, like that's my dojo's champion. So the potential chance of like a WWE ID under him, or just a chance of him in Evolve and then getting an ID title or whatever, I think that'd be sick.
I agree.
Yeah, if they do it that way, then I'm a lot more here for it. But it just feels like, and it's no disrespect to Triple H or how it is, but it feels like it's once again it's a title for the sake of having a title.
I can see that side of it. but I'll explain my opinion of it in this kind of way. So at the minute, you have got an abundance of talent in
Yeah.
NXT in the women's division. Maybe with Evolve, it'll be better filtered because it's another level where then you get to the next level and then you get to the next level. Like in NXT at the moment is
Yeah, I can see that.
that's the bottom rung, and there's a lot of people on that bottom rung, and then the women's divisions on SmackDown and Raw are already stacked. So it'd be cool if you started here and then got to here,
Yeah.
and the people who are already here have moved up, so they're out the way. So now you're here, and you're the next generation.
I mean,
That makes
I'd be cool with that then. If it's like a tier system, you go ID to then you get an NXT to then you go to the top of NXT to then potential main roster. If they
yeah.
do it like
I mean,
that,
don't get
that's
me wrong.
fine.
Don't get me wrong. If there's any standouts, yeah, like get them straight up to NXT.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
for the most part, I think that tier would be great. I think that would be cool. Like maybe like an NXT UK situation, or like I
Yeah,
said, the way they used Evolve back in the day.
yeah, I agree on that 100%. I think that'd be quite a solid way of booking it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all of the topics covered, unless you've got any last things to add.
Nothing really, except I'm excited for the men's elimination chamber match.
Same.
I'm kind of meh on the women's one. I don't really care about it. Like, I mean, and that's nothing against people that are in it. It's just
I like Roxanne won and got in. That was cool.
I'm happy that she's won. I am. I'm very excited that she won. But they haven't really built it up, and they haven't really focused on it as much as the men's one. So like,
Yeah.
invested.
Yeah.
Again, exactly. I'm not invested, and that's nothing against the women. I love all of them. I think they're great. I just don't care. Like, I mean,
I feel that.
I think it'll probably be a great match, but like, I'm just not invested right now. What else am I like? Just like a quick thought on. I just want to get your opinions on what's been going on in AEW lately because I've not really been caught with it. Like, if you want to have a quick chat about that.
Ricochet could talk a lot more on the mic, especially in the most recent promo. It was really good
I
against
know.
Nana.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. They did an incredible work of turning Hangman Adam Page back babyface against MJF and him snapping, being like, "Don't you dare talk about Christopher Daniels like that." Yeah, I made him die a warrior's death, but you don't disrespect him. I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Tony Storm doing some of the best work she's ever done, like hands down. Sucks what happened with Buddy Matthews and the Ring. And if they're ever going to do shows like that, please stop giving the wrestlers really shitty small rings. Because
I didn't. What happened there? What happened?
Buddy Matthews injured his ankle literally right at the start of his match when he did a pop up because of how small the ring was.
Right.
And the ring was that small, even in the tag matches, the tag opponents couldn't really stand on the edges properly. So
Okay.
Fix that shit. Just fix that shit. Like, it's silly. And yeah, I genuinely think Buddy Matthews would have won in Australia if he didn't get injured and would have beat Okada, which would have been sick and would have really pushed the momentum for the Hellhounds, but they haven't. Yeah, like AEW is still fun to watch. It's just difficult to watch at the moment because obviously all the controversy that's coming out and all the drama of who's just been released, what's going on with wrestlers. It kind of just puts a sour taste in your mouth.
I've heard they got a new talented woman, like something Maine or something.
Yes, it's like Melina Main or something like that. She was in Stardom for a bit. Like she came early, was quite a bit green. They sent her to Stardom, and then she really like shined. So they re-signed her, and she's been really good since then. Like I've enjoyed her work.
Right.
Let me just quickly find it because. Megan Bain. There you go. Megan Bain is her name.
Megan Bain. Right. Okay. Yeah. I've heard quite a few people talking about her since she made the
good.
debut.
She's definitely good. She's someone to keep an eye on. What I will say, very interesting. Gabe Kidd is on Collision this weekend.
Oh, that's nice. Is that a possibility of him maybe signing a full contract or?
Nah, he ain't leaving Japan, bro. He is the Japan guy. They've literally been calling him proper like New Japan's new boy, like the biggest like king of pro wrestling, kind of carrying it on his back.
That's cool, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's very well deserved as well. He's grinded for years.
Yeah, and New Japan's in a weird place again because like there's a lot of good things I agree with it, but there's also some of the kind of ones that I'm like, really, that was a bit weird choice. So House of Torture came back, Evil is back, he's back in New Japan, but now they're doing an angle where they want to get rid of Bullet Club War Dogs and they be the only Bullet Club like House of Torture. So they're making that in-house fighting, even though it was never relevant a year prior. So it's just weird. You've also got Hiroki Goto beat Zack Sabre Jr. for the world like IWGP, which I mean, cool. He waited 7 years to get 7 or 8 years to get the belt, but like you gave Zack Sabre Jr. a really short tenure with the belt, made him defend 2 Wrestle Kingdom nights back to back, and then you make his next defense after that him losing. Kind of a bit shit.
That kind of sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it just feels weird. And they also made Shota Umino completely cut all his hair off in a story angle.
I bet he looks weird now. Then
he did. Yeah.
It's can't imagine him with no hair.
Hold on, I'll if I can find it on Twitter, I'll send it you for after the podcast because it's one that I don't know why they did it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Zack Sabre, is he got plans to go elsewhere? Then, if that's the case with this one,
I genuinely don't know. I hope not, because I feel like he is that guy for Japan as the best UK representative, other than obviously Gabe Kidd and Driller Maloney now. But
yeah, not to be.
I could see Zack Sabre Jr. signing with AEW because of all the technical wrestlers there and having those opportunities.
I would be selfish to say I would like to see him in North America. It'd be quite cool.
Because, like, I've enjoyed watching him and Daniel Bryan matches. I really have. But, like, I don't know. It just...
Put him with an old quarter cut.
I mean, him in WWE would be an even crazier pull. I don't think they would, but...
I don't think they would either. He did well in the Cruiserweight Classic, though. That was nice.
Yeah, when he was in the Cruiserweight Classic, that was incredible stuff. But yeah, I don't think he would be there long term. I think he realized after the Cruiserweight Classic, he was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
Yeah. Different regime, though. Like, you never know. Like, I mean, never say never with people like Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, to be honest with you, there's people who succeeded in the WWE system who I never thought would be in that company.
That's very true. But yeah, do you want to wrap up and head us out?
I sure do, yeah. Well, guys, if you managed to stick with us, me and Ross, like talking nonsense for the past, I don't even know how long. An hour and a half. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry we didn't have a full gang of people here with today, but it's always nice to just have me and Ross talk a load of rubbish about wrestling because it's just we're kind of into the same things, NXT, etc. But if you did like us just talking rubbish, like I said, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Go follow Outcasted OC on X, Instagram, and on TikTok at Outcasted OC. We have content up there all the time. All of our individual channels will be in the description down below, so hopefully you can go check us out in our individual areas there. But for now, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of the week. Enjoy SmackDown coming on Friday and Collision coming up this weekend too. Oh, and TNA because it's supposed to be good this week. So peace out, guys.
Peace.